It's totally a
Well, if we wanted to stop Chinese counterfeiting, going back to politics, somebody should have played into the Trans-Pacific Partnership and maybe
I don't know.
I'm not saying it was a perfect solution, but at least we would have had a voice on the table, similar to the Iran deal. So we don't get everything we want, so fuck you, we don't participate. Maybe don't. Anyways.
Yeah, the proliferation of it's hard to call it like counterfeit because it's not a lot of board games, especially coming out of China that you're buying on Mass Drop or Wish or Amazon.
Guess where they were printed.
Yeah, it's not counterfeit in the fact that they're like copy. No, that's the warehouse that, that's the print shop that printed the ones for, Cool Mini or not, or Wizards of the... They just printed an extra couple 100,000, or probably 10,000, and they're just selling them on the side.
We printed it slightly to the right, so it's not a direct counterfeit.
Oh no, it's a direct count. And that's the thing, is it's not even what you would necessarily call a counterfeit, because they are the printer for Wizards of the Coast. They're just printing extra and selling them on the internet. Yeah, when you're cruising through and you're buying a $50 box set for $10 off of Amazon, but it's shipping out of China, and when it comes in, it's exact. It's not a knockoff. It's not faded colors. There's plenty of those happening too, sure. Especially in like miniatures. You're seeing, they call them resprues, where they'll just clip the miniatures out, lay them all back out onto a new sprue format because they're doing spin casting, and just recasting, miniatures at, sure, we can argue about, Games Workshop's pricing, which is, but,
$40 for 3 plastic figurines.
But at the same time, there's the shit coming out of,
to spin off on that a little bit to the Games Workshop thing, I think it's kind of interesting and kind of fascinating. They've done the exact opposite of what most of these properties have done, where they're just like, here's our license, do whatever the fuck you want with it, like, Mordhaus, Total War, whatever. Just like, here's our IP.
Yeah. They've, basically about 3 years ago, it finally dawned on them after, 30 friggin' years that their value as a company is not in their games.
Figurines.
It's not in their books. It's not. It is in their IP.
Exactly.
That's what they are, is an IP holding company.
Yeah. So they're just fucking taking handfuls of.
Oh yeah, and you got 12 zillion.
It was the Space Marine video game that was that like 4 or 5 years ago?
Longer than that. That was because that was done by THQ and Relic. So and THQ
that was Dawn of War.
Oh, that's right.
Space Marine was a little bit more.
Yeah, Space Marine was a little. It was still like 5-6 years ago.
It was a few years ago, to be sure, but it was basically just a fucking Dynasty Warriors reskin, effectively. And not literally, but in the premise, you're just hack and slashing through. Hordes of orcs. Is it orcs or?
Yes. Yeah. It's
and then like Dawn of War 2 and Dawn of War 3. Dawn of War also 1, 2, and 3, and then Dawn of War 3 did just. But just fucking. I liked Dawn of War 1. I liked Dawn of War 2 for very different reasons.
Yeah,
they were very different games, where Space Marines were kind of the core. But
Games Workshops, they've definitely lightened up in the last, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years maybe. Kind of turned back into an actual gaming company filled with gamers rather than just madhouse of sue happy, just constantly suing their everyone.
Just flipping that.
Yeah, well, they got a new CEO and really kind of. I mean, yeah, there's still challenges. I mean, there's always going to be in a, international conglomerate, massive corporation like
UK
that.
Company, I think, right?
Yeah.
The flip side of that, though, is the Star Wars franchise. Once Disney bought them, because Star Wars was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, make a game, make a book, I don't give a shit. And then once Disney bought the Star Wars franchise, there's been, 2 Star Wars games? Battlefront and Battlefront 2. They've gone, just...
Yeah, but...
In the same time frame, the juxtaposition of the two things.
To some extent, that's, an understandable yet poor decision to limit that license to exclusively licensed video games to EA. If you're a Disney exec and not a gamer,
sure,
and in this, EA says, hey, give us an exclusive license, look at us, we're like fundamentally the largest distributor and publisher of video games on the face of the planet. Well, that makes good sense. And, on that little information, the flip side to it is Jesus fucking Christ, you're Disney. It's not like you can't, spend a little money to do a little research and find out they're also the most hated company on the face of the planet. Like
I said, just those two things, which are very concurrent in the time frame, doing the opposite thing in different directions.
Yeah.
Because I think, because one of the things that Games Workshop did was, they reduced their license to, again, there was several games.
Sure.
And they've made not a small amount of money on, like I said, Total War and the other games franchises. Which is funny, because Total War never mind, cut that. Ready, set, go. What were you saying?
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that I have no idea. You totally lost me.
Oh, yeah, I lost myself too. That's
cool. On the 40K thing, I mean,
and not doing anything.
It's been kind of interesting watching. I think it's Cubicle 7 just acquired the license from Ulysses for the Warhammer 40K role-playing game, because Ulysses, which is a German role-playing company, they had gotten the license and they had put out a new 40K role-playing game. The two largest markets for role-playing games are going to be English speaking and Portuguese, so Brazilian. So a lot of the content from the Wrath and Glory, the new 40K RPG, was written by Ross Watson, and he's an American writing in English. And then it kind of got translated into German for the German execs and then translated back. As far as urban legend goes, that could be misnomers. Anyway, apparently, I haven't actually read the book, but apparently it is just a complete mess of just horrific grammar. It's almost unreadable. And then the Portuguese translations are even worse. The Spanish translations don't exist despite pre-sales of them almost a year ago. It's just been a complete clusterfuck. And yeah, so Cubicle 7, which is another role-playing company, has just acquired that license. And, yeah, just announced that the new printing is not necessarily a new edition. It's basically a whole new edition of the book, and watching that clusterfuck happen. And then some of the other clusterfuck, listening to some of the craziness of back to China, and not necessarily the copyright issues, but like how everyone's expecting massive delays or just dropping books because of the trade war is, hitting between 12 and 20%, that's more than the margins on a role-playing book. No one's making 20% off of a D&D book. That just isn't a thing. And now they're looking at 20% tariffs to re-import these books that they sent to press. Some of them have already printed and are, waiting to ship or are in transit. And, so that's like kind of a terrifying thing where, like, all these books you were expecting this summer probably may or may not show up. Some of those books will show up, but some of those, especially some of the smaller role-playing companies, even some of the big role-playing companies, may not survive second quarter, third quarter releases, just because. So it's kind of scary. I know like a few people are trying to move their prints, to Lithuania, because it's about the only place that actually has print shops that can hunt. Because you're running, whatever, fantasy roleplay game number 37's, bestiary. You're printing like 6,000 copies. You're not printing, well, you can't print that in the U.S. There just isn't a shop where that's financially viable to do. India doesn't have the printing, either the infrastructure or the expertise to do it. So it's like trying to shift everything over to basically the only other option is Lithuania for printing. But now that's starting to back up because although they have, great print houses and expertise, they don't have the sheer number of print houses. And so, it's absolute madness. And like every day, the various gaming sites or various insiders are talking about, the panic in the tabletop gaming industry, that that revolution and renaissance that we've, kind of enjoyed over the last, 8-10 years might come to a screeching halt a la 1990s comic books, just everything freaking collapsing all over madhouse craziness. And on one hand it's like, okay, well, I've got a shitload of gaming books and I'll have plenty of hours of enjoyment, but then, at the same time,
the new thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and come back for the next episode.